fundamental for the definition is a systematic process using engineering method for the entire development life cycle, and then the application of discipline, operation and maintenance to ensure high quality, reliability and reduce complexity. And the sequential SDLC phase, which is number 1 is planning. Planning is setting scope, boundaries and resources, and then the second one is requirement analysis, which is establishing usually to specific QGIS goal. And then the next one is design, which is planning, architecture and user interface, which is UI. And the next one is implementation, which is programming or coding, like developing the actual product. The next one is testing, which is detecting and resolving error before the system is. And then the next one is maintenance, which is updating the new OS version and user limited. That's why is failure investigation, which is skipping phase can lead to a software crisis by exceeding budget, missing deadline, insufficient and efficient software and critical error causing professional system crash. System domain and requirement concept, which is domain like professional grade, QGIS for viewing, editing and analyze geospatial data, cross-platform and open source supporting vector, raster and database program. The next is target audience, which is GIS professional, urban planner, surveyor and university student. Then the next one is functional requirement, which is FR, define what the system must do, such as QGIS must support importing sharp file to display vector data. And then the next one is non-functional requirement, which is define how the system perform, such as map layer with 100,000 and 10,000 pictures must render within 2 seconds. Requirement definition, which is functional requirement like import geospatial data such as GeoTIFF, KML and also CSV. And then the next one is provide toolbox for spatial data analysis for buffering and intersection. The next one is enable editing of attribute table format features. And the last one is export map layout as PDF or image format. So, and the next one is non-functional requirement, which is for NR1 is interoperability, like critical for exchanging data with satellite, GPS, and CAD system in the environment project. The next one is NFR2, which is extensivity, which is plugin based structure allow surveyor to add specialized tools without compromising our stability. For architecture and testing analysis, which is for architecture, plugin architecture support by MVC. The next one is justification, which is core system handled basic rendering by selection of concern, while specialized QGIS tools are added on independent plugin. And then the next one is testing strategy, which have to like compatibility testing to ensure that artificial and accurate geospatial result across domain and lines. And then the regression testing, which is ensure update and third-party plugin do not break existing core functionality and integration. Use case diagram and specification. I use case name like perform the full analysis, and the actor is surveyor. The description, the user create a zone of specific distance around a geographic region. And the precondition, user must add at least one vector layer and must be loaded into the project. And then the main event is user select the buffer tool. The second one, user choose the input layer and set the distance. The third one is system calculate the geometry and create a new layer. And for the alternate or exceptional flow, like if the distance enter is 0 or negative, the system display an error message and does not process. The next one is if the selected input layer contain invalid and corrupted geometry, the system shall notify the user and terminate the calculation to prevent system crash. And the post condition is a new buffer layer appears is starting from the start node. The surveyor select the buffer node and input a distance that include a critical decision node, like is the distance greater than 0 or not. If no, the system follow the error path, like display a distance must be more than 0 message, and terminate to prevent invalid process. If yes, the system proceed the calculation, the geometry and output the new buffer layer to the kernel. And then the logic flow ensure that system stability and match my actual flow in QGIS as shown in the screenshot